My 23F father-in-law, 70M, spanked me, and my husband, 30M, thinks it's not a big deal and thinks it's kind of funny. And I'm freaked out and rethinking our relationship. What do I do? I know the title sounds ridiculous, and it is a ridiculous situation because it shouldn't have never happened, but I really need some advice. So, my FIL always has been like that cranky and senile old man. And he always made some distasteful claims and jokes, but I always brushed them over because I was trying to be understanding, thinking he's from another time and background, and since my husband warned me about him from early on and told me to just ignore him. But it finally went wrong when I was staying at his place. I was staying there for a few days because he had hurt his leg, and he couldn't move around the house freely. He still could, but just not very well. So, I offered and kind of selected to help him staying at his place for a few days. And things were not easy, but they were going pretty well, until a couple nights ago. We got into some stupid argument where he insisted on eating and drinking things that the doctor told him not to, at least during his recovery, and I kept telling him he shouldn't. And he started raising his voice a lot, screaming, "Do not talk back to me, girl," and like, "I can do what for fuck I want to do in my house," and got up from his chair. I instantly got scared, thinking it might escalate, so I just apologized and tried to leave, but he sprinted toward me, grabbed me, and held me down. I got extremely scared because even though he's an old man who's sick, he's still a very big man, like 6 feet 2 inches or something, and I'm fairly small woman under 100 pounds. And I knew I couldn't do anything physically to stop him. Then he started like spanking me like he'd really want to hurt me. I was so scared and terrified because he kept yelling at me, and I just kept apologizing and crying because I was just genuinely terrified. He kept doing it, and after I profusely apologized, he finally let me go, and I was just glad that it was over, but then he even made me stand facing the wall. I couldn't even think to run away. I know I should have, and I probably could have ran away, and I was being dumb, but I was just so scared and was worried that he might do it again, so I couldn't think straight, so I just followed. And I couldn't think about how modifying it was at that moment because my butt was hurting too much and I was just hoping that it would end. And after a while, he finally said I can go. So I ran up to my room to call my husband. I called him and I started crying, telling him what happened because I was relieved that it was over, but also I started feeling so powerless, helpless, and mortified. But then he kind of chuckled, said, "Oh, yes, he used to spank us growing up." Like he genuinely doesn't see the difference between spanking his own child growing up, which is still messed up, and spanking his grown-up daughter-in-law and seeing her half naked. I kept trying to make him understand, but he was pretty much like, "Well, that sucks, but you knew he was that way and kind of not there. You should just try to forget it happened. He's just a crazy poor old man." And when I kept insisting, he finally said he will talk to his dad. But I feel like it won't he much. I'm just shocked that he doesn't see why it's messed up and how he's kind of siding with his dad when his dad pretty much assaulted me. I feel like I can't trust him like before. And I'm also worried, thinking what if it was our future kids? But he still think it's just spanking. And I told him to come pick me up, but he said he can't now. So he's now picking me up this coming Monday, which is still earlier than planned. But still I have to stay with him for more days. And apparently he talked to his dad telling him he can't do that. But my FIL just keeps smirking at me, saying that's what I get for being a B*TCH, or he'll make my hiney explode again. And I've been feeling like I'm walking on eggshells in the last couple days, worrying that he'll do it again. And I'm just doing whatever he tells me to. What do I do? I'm seriously rethinking this relationship. But do you think it's possible that he just doesn't see the seriousness of the situation and will change after I make him see somehow? Edit. I'm sorry, but I'm making this edit to put some of my responses. I was trying to reply to the comments, but they were overwhelmingly too many. Yes, now I know I should have called police. But the first thing that came to my mind was to call my husband, and after he brushed it off, I didn't think to call police. And I know that was dumb. And now I feel a little uncomfortable or intimidated to call the police because it didn't just happen, and I feel a little scared to do so because it feels like trouble, if that makes sense. I know I'm not in trouble, but I'm not sure if that makes sense. And I'll try to figure out a way to leave as early as possible, hopefully by tomorrow morning. I'm calling my husband as soon as I'm done with this to see if he can change his travel plans to pick me up. And I can't afford to go get a taxi because he lives very far from other things. I'll try to see if my friend will be available to drive me if my husband can't. I now know that I was naive to think that it can be okay staying until Monday. Thank you for all the advice. Edit 2. Sorry I wasn't responding. I was calling my husband and friend. My husband said he can try to get me even earlier, but not until Sunday. So, I called my friend. I didn't tell her much, but she said she would ask her boyfriend if he can drive. Then she said they can come get me tomorrow. So, I'll be getting out of here tomorrow. Some people asked me why I couldn't find an old man as a grown woman. Like I said in the post, he is old, but still a big man. He's a lot taller than me. He's like 6 feet 2 inches even now, and I'm 5 feet 1 inch, and I'm sure he weighs more than double how much I weigh. Like I couldn't literally do anything when he held me down. I was so scared because I never felt like that. Also, some asked me why I didn't run when he made me go stand. Like I said in the post, I knew I could probably run away and outrun him, but I was scared what would happen if I get caught and I couldn't think straight. Some asked how could I even get grabbed by him initially when his leg was injured. He can still move around his house, just not very freely. I was there mainly to help him out going up and down the stairs, and when he goes out because he can't walk long. But we were close when this happened, and he could still lunge towards me really quickly. Maybe I could have ran or something, but I don't know. And some wanted me to clarify the half-naked part. Maybe it was confusing because I wasn't planning to share that part because I felt humiliated by that, but it slipped out when I was talking about my call with my husband. But he pulled my pajamas and all down to spank me when he held me down. Also, I'm not sure if dementia is a possibility, but I'll maybe figure that out once I leave the house.